Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. For this video I'm going to do my latest monthly favourites, this time looking back at February. This isn't going to be quite as long as some videos I've done because there isn't quite so much to report on. Partly because I was spending quality time with my girlfriend and other friends during the month. Obviously we had Valentine's Day, so we celebrated that. But also because during February there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. In particular, filling up my calendar for March. There's a lot going on in March. A lot more than usual, it seems, because various opportunities have come my way for one reason or another. Obviously, we've got Disabled Access Day, which this video might go up just before. If it does, then do go out and to one of the events on that day, because I think you'll really enjoy it. There's quite a lot going on. And then there's also the Transport for London Access Day on the 19th of March at the XL Arena, which those of you living in London might want to go to. You can also register for that free on their website. I'll put a link to that in the description. And also, of course, there's the Naidex show that I like to plug because they plug me on social media, so I give them a shout out in return. And I'm going to that on Wednesday, the 27th of March. It's also open on the Tuesday, the 26th. It's Europe's largest event dedicated to disability and independent living. So they've got all sorts there, covering all sorts of disabilities. And those are just like 3 big events I'm going to in the month. There's also some interesting museum visits and theatre visits I'm going to as well. So there's going to be a lot to come on my blog and in my next favourites video on here. So keep an eye on my blog to see what's coming up because there's some interesting stuff on the way. But let's get back to February and I'll tell you about the few bits and pieces that I have been doing that I can tell you about. And it's mainly museums really, and the first few things we're going to mention are museums. And then, as I say, there's going to be a few bits of entertainment as well. So let's crack on with it. So looking at museums, my favourite during the month was the National Gallery. I've only been there once before to have a look around one of their exhibitions, so it was a nice chance to go back there again. Because Claire and I went to one of their Art Through Words sessions. They do this once a month on the last Saturday of every month. And basically what happens is they choose an artwork from their many thousands that they've got there, and they do a blown up photocopy of it for you to look at, and they have high resolution images scanned in their archives, of course, to help preserve them. So you get high quality photocopies as a result. So you get to see a lot of the detail in them. And then you also get further photocopies of various sections of the painting zoomed in, so you get to see even more detail close up. Plus you get a simplified tactile representation of the painting as well. Obviously not in complete detail, but it gives you a general idea of the shape and the key features and things like that. So you get all that, and then you're talked through the painting, it's described to you. And it was really, really good because of that. You know, we were able to pick out so much that we would not at all have noticed otherwise. Because there's just so much in this particular painting, which was Still Life with Lemons in a Wicker Basket, to give it its short title. Its full title, which is in my blog, I'm not going to try and remember it here, does give quite a big description of the image. It's quite unusual for a painting to have a title that's that long. But it's a beautiful painting. It's got lemons in a wicker basket, as the name implies. It's also got various flowers and plants of different sorts in it. And there's a little bowl in the corner with a goldfinch perched on it. And there's just so much going on there that you can look at it with a casual eye and think, oh yeah, that looks nice, and there's bits and pieces there. But when it's really described to you in detail like this, and the context of what everything means as well, and you hear about the artist and everything, it really does help you appreciate it a lot more. Because I'm certainly not an art expert, I'm a complete novice. So to have this kind of insight and this kind of education into the sorts of meanings and reasons for things being there, and to pick out details that you would never think of looking for, it was really enlightening. It was really fun and educational, and yeah, we really enjoyed that. So yeah, you get a session discussing the painting in detail, and you can ask questions, of course. And then at the very end, you get to go into the gallery and see the painting itself on the wall. So I really, really enjoyed that. It was really good. And I think we will be trying to go to more of those sessions in the months to come, I think. Obviously, links to the things I talk about will be in my blog post that goes with this as usual. Because if you haven't seen my favourites videos before, I always do a big blog post to go with it. So there's always links and things in there. And there's links in the description to the video, of course. So have a look at the description of my blog post if you want to see links to everything that I talk about. Then the next museum I went to was the Fan Museum, and I went there with London Vision South East for a guided tour, and that's in Greenwich. And you may not think that the Fan Museum sounds very exciting, but actually it's really, really good in there. It's not a huge place, it's like a house that's been converted into a museum. But what they've got in there is really, really beautiful. The fans have got really ornate artworks on them. They're proper works of art in themselves. If they were on just normal canvases, could easily go up in a proper gallery. And this is basically a gallery of artwork just in fan form, to be honest. So yeah, there's some really detailed things in there. It's really colourful and decorative. And in the guided tour, we got to hear about the different materials they used to make fans and the different purposes that fans were used for and things like that. So it was really interesting. It was really nice to look around all of that. And we had a lovely afternoon tea in the cafe there as well afterwards, so that was really nice. Then away from guided tours, Claire and I decided to check out the Victoria and Albert Museum of Childhood. This isn't the main Victoria and Albert Museum in South Kensington. This is another museum in Bethnal Green in East London. And yeah, again, that's got a hell of a lot in it. It's really, really nostalgic in there because there's obviously lots of old toys and things, many of which obviously we remembered from our childhood, and obviously loads of other toys that we didn't play with and things. So it's really interesting to look through it all. And they've also got a pirates exhibition in there as well, which is more geared for the kids really, but it was still nice to look at that. So yeah, we spent the best part of the day looking around there. That was really interesting. It's not very easy to read everything in there. That's the only gripe I have with it, I suppose. A lot of the text labels are kind of in the glass cases with the objects, and the text is really small, and the lighting isn't always great in those cases. So you're looking at small text far away in a case where the light isn't too great. Even with my binocular, I struggled a bit. Some bits I could read and it was interesting, but other bits I couldn't, which was a bit of a shame. So it'd be nice if they had large print guides or increased the size of the labels or something. But yeah, even for the stuff I couldn't read, it was still interesting to look at everything just to see the sort of toys that children used to play with in the past. It's interesting to see how toys have evolved over the years, how childhoods have evolved. You've got teddy bears and doll houses and all sorts of other things in there. So yeah, again, it's one of those museums that's definitely worth a visit at least once. So again, it's one I can recommend checking out if you like that sort of thing. And then the final museum I went to was the main Victoria and Albert Museum. I went there on my own this time to continue looking at the Europe 1600 to 1815 gallery, which I've been to twice before, but they've got 7 rooms there and there's so much stuff in there that it's something I've had to do kind of bit by bit. It's taken me ages to get around to going back there actually, and the last couple of times I went was over a year ago. So it's been nice to go back there again, just sort of take a day out to do that. And what I like about the exhibition is not only is it fascinating because they've got lots of lovely furniture and statues and paintings and all sorts in there. It's a real variety of stuff from European history. But they also have a large print guide in there for every room, which is really, really useful because it really helps me to kind of find out about everything I'm looking at. And they also have an audio feature on their website as well. It's not audio description, but for selected objects in each room, they do have like a bit of extra audio to go with it, telling you a bit about it and telling you a bit about the people who made it, things like that. So it's quite interesting to kind of use that on your phone. So yeah, it's a nice sort of interactive exhibition in that sense, but it's just nice to look around at everything and being able to use the large print guide and just take my time going around a couple of rooms at a time. It's really, really nice. It's a nice way to spend an afternoon. So I did rooms 3 and 4 this time. I've already done rooms 5, 6 and 7 because you kind of do them in reverse order. You kind of, when you come in the main entrance of the museum, you come into room 7 and then you go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can go through the other way if you want to, but it's kind of designed to go from 7 to 1. But yeah, it's a really good exhibition. So I've just got rooms 1 and 2 left to do now, which I will do at some point. And then the other main topic for the month is the entertainment I've been enjoying. I finished off the box set of Red Dwarf on Blu-ray, series 1 to 8. So I've posted a big unboxing video of that and a big review post of it. And I also finally got around to going all the way through the box set for the White Album by the Beatles, which was really, really good to read through the book for that and listen to all the tracks on it as well. And I've done a big review of that again with an unboxing video and a massive blog post. So go and check out those 2 reviews that I've posted very recently. They are both great. Like I say, the Beatles album was wonderful. There's so many great performances on the album itself, but also in all the demos and sessions material that's included with it. And on the Red Dwarf box set, there's loads of extra features as well as all the episodes, including some extra features that I didn't have before because I didn't have what was called the Body Snatcher collection that was released at one point. So go and check those out and I hope you enjoy those. Then on the TV, I've been watching much the same stuff as usual really, like The Last Leg and 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown and Young Sheldon, and now The Big Bang Theory has resumed its final season. It's going to be sad when that's over, but it's a good time to leave it, I think. But my favourite programme of the month, again, was 2.4 Children, classic sitcom from the 90s. I talked about this in my last video, so I'm not going to go into detail now, but Gold have been repeating it in its entirety, or nearly in its entirety, over the past couple of months. So it's been great to rewatch all those old episodes because they're not available on DVD, only series 1 to 3 are, so seeing series 4 to 8 has been a real treat. I say nearly in its entirety because they had to skip 1 episode of series 7 due to a rights issue, which was a shame and doesn't bode well for any future DVD releases if they can't even get it on the TV. And they've also not broadcast the Christmas specials yet because they're saving those for Christmas, so hopefully we'll get all of those at least because they are always classics, they are. Yeah, it's been great to relive the series through all the episodes that they have broadcast so far, so thank you to Gold for putting that on. I also want to quickly mention a game as well that my girlfriend introduced me to during the month. Claire told me about Super Tile Smash by Woodside Apps, which is quite an addictive game, quite an easy game to get into. And basically, you have all these tiles on the screen and you have to tap to remove tiles that are consecutively the same colour. So any ones that are red next to each other or blue next to each other or whatever. Or you can change the icons as well, so you can have all sorts of different shapes instead of just blocks of colour. And there are all sorts of different modes as well, different styles of playing the game, and you can also change the number of tiles you see on the screen. It's very customisable, the game, and like I say, there's loads of different ways to play it. So it's a really nice game. The menu system needs a little bit of work in terms of being compatible with the dynamic text setting on my phone, because as I've got the text enlarged, some bits get truncated and some bits don't enlarge at all. But I know the developer's aware of that. So yeah, it's a really good game. It's a really simple game to get into, and like I say, it's very addictive. It's just a nice way to kill a few moments. So go and check out Super Tile Smash, and also check out Woodside Apps as well for all the different games that they do, because there's a few others on there that I haven't tried yet, but I might give a few of the others a go just to see what they're like. And there's also an interview with the creator as well on the Apple Viz website, so I'll put links to all that in the description, and it's all in my blog post as well if you want to check that out. And then I'll finish by mentioning a few bits and pieces on social media as well. And there's a relatively new magazine at the moment called Captivating Magazine online, all about disability and accessibility, and there's loads of interviews and articles in there. So that's well worth checking out if you want to give it a read online. And they have like a blog website, and they do OCR compatible PDFs, so you can use it with your speech reader. They've been doing a We Are Captivating campaign just to show that being disabled doesn't hold you back, doesn't stop you from achieving things. So they updated one of my photos on Instagram, so they added a special frame to it, with their hashtag and their logo, so I could post that and just put a little bit of spiel about myself. So that was nice to do that. It was nice to kind of represent that campaign. And also a lady called Rebecca, who's one of the staff writers, gave me a mention in her blog, or specifically Amanda Jean did, when she did an interview with Rebecca that was published there. So yeah, thank you to Amanda and Becky for giving me a mention there. That was very, very kind of you. I'm also aware of a new book out by a lady called Nadine Neckles called Can I Tell You About Naidex? A Guide for Friends, Family and Professionals. I haven't read the book yet. I don't know if it's any good or not, but the reviews I've seen from the few people who have read it are very positive, and the Naidex Network have been supporting it. And it does sound like it's a very good book for people who know someone who's affected by nystagmus. Maybe you're a parent or a friend or someone who works with someone who's got nystagmus. So I'll go and check that out and see what you think of it, and feel free to let me know what you think as well if it'd be worth getting. But I just thought I'd give it a shout out, because if the Nystagmus Network are promoting something, then it's probably got to be good, and anything that helps to promote nystagmus is a good thing as well. So yeah, go and check out that book. I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. And talking of my eye conditions, we also had Rare Disease Day during the month as well, of course, on February the 28th. I didn't do anything big for it this year. I did sort of add my star to their little universe they were putting together online, just to say how many people were affected by aniridia. 1 in 47,000 if you're interested. It's very rare. But yeah, last year I took part in their photo challenge and I won that, which was, still amazes me even now, the fact that I could post a different photo every single day on a given theme and actually win a competition on it. So that was really nice of them to send me a prize for that. So yeah, I'll put a link to that blog post down below as well. Even though it's from last year, it's worth looking at, because it just gives a nice summary of my conditions and how I live my life, really. So it's a good opportunity to plug that again. And I've also been introduced to some new podcasts as well, which I haven't had a chance to listen to properly yet, because I've got so many things I can listen to. It's hard to catch up with everything. But my girlfriend has very kindly sent me some links to some additional podcasts that I thought I'd pass on to you as well. All visual impairment related, of course. So there's Apple Viz, Blind Bargains and Life After Blindness, which are all technology related. And then there's Blind Abilities, Eyes on Success and Talking Vision, now the latter being an Australian podcast. And they're all more chatty kind of podcasts with interviews and things. So I'll put links to all those again in the description, and again they're in my blog post. If you want some new podcasts to listen to, there's 6 there you can go and check out. And also on my blog I have a page dedicated to a whole list of blogs and YouTube channels that I've added a list of podcasts to as well now. So if you want to hear some podcasts related to visual impairment, again, I'll put a link to that down below. And if there's anything you want me to add to that page, by all means let me know, because I'm happy to make it a very comprehensive list so that people can check it out. I've also got a page listing blogs and video channels that are disability related in general, so anything that's not specifically for visual impairment goes on that page. And I've got lists of like entertainment blogs and London blogs as well. So You know, you can go and check all those out. I'll put all the links down below, and if you just want something new to check out, there's a whole list there for you to check out. And anything you want me to add to those lists, by all means, let me know. And finally, just to say a quick thank you to those of you who helped me get over 600 Twitter followers this month. In fact, all my subscriber counts across the board keep ticking up very, very gradually. So thank you to you wherever you subscribe to me. I just thought I'd mention Twitter as it was a nice milestone to mention. But thank you very, very much to everyone who subscribes to me, wherever that may be, my blog, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. It's very flattering that you take an interest in what I do. I share my experiences just because people seem to like to read about them, and it's nice to kind of raise awareness of the fact that, even though I've got a visual impairment, I'm still able to go out and do things, and there are lots of accessible things to do in London. Indeed, for Disabled Access Day this month, I've made 2 guest posts highlighting that fact that there are accessible things to do. It's a great opportunity to highlight what's out there for people to do. So I'll link to those guest posts in the description, whenever they're published. If I might have done this video before Disabled Access Day, in which case I'll add the links afterwards as well. And that's it. As I say, just a short video, because although I was busy during the month, a lot of it was kind of behind the scenes and personal stuff in a good way that I couldn't really talk about here. But I did still go to a few museums, and there was some bits and pieces of entertainment I could tell you about. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. March's video is going to be jam-packed full of stuff because there's a lot going on. And what with Naidex and the Transport for London Access Day and Disabled Access Day, and I've got theatre shows I'm going to, and I've got other bits and pieces I'm going to as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about in March, and there may well be some blog posts kind of in the interim talking about some of the stuff I'm doing as I go along. So keep an eye on my blog for what I'm getting up to. Keep an eye on this channel as always. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you for another video very, very soon. Bye.